I have been greatly enjoying Kanopy during this winter season. If you don't know what Kanopy is this streaming service that you can get for free through your library. Oftentimes, that's how I have it. And it's movies, but it's like movies that aren't necessarily things that you would be able to find on bigger streaming services or like more commercially available. A lot of it's like foreign films or like kind of weird artsy indie films, but I really love their documentary section. And a few weeks ago, actually it's getting close to a month ago, here in Boston, we had a huge dumping of snow around the time when everyone on the East Coast was having crazy storms. And a movie caught my eye based on the title of it, and it kind of sent me down this rabbit hole journey of documentaries about kind of what happens to the female body as we age. There were 3 documentaries plus kind of like a fourth side little rabbit trail I went down. And they're kind of like almost maiden, mother, crone in the way that they are set up. So I wanted to share that because it's really interesting, especially in a culture where we're not taught very much about our bodies as women, and our bodies are not studied as much. We weren't included in medical studies for a long time. They just 2 years ago was the first time that they actually tested any period products with blood. Like crazy. Okay, so the first movie that and the order I'm going to recommend them in is Maiden, Mother, Crone. So it's kind of this journey through womanhood. The first movie is Periodical. It's from 2023 and it's directed by Lina Plioplyte. Plioplyte, plioplyte, I think. This is very much just about like what happens when we have a period and why we have a period, but also like access and like equitable access to period products, and how like there's a tax on a lot of these products in a lot of states, which is crazy because it's a medical necessity. So it was really interesting, and it's kind of looking at like young women and how they're really moving this platform of like free access or like at least no taxing on these like necessary health products for women, like young college girls. And then yeah, it was really good. So that's the first one, Periodical. And then if you kind of want to go on a rabbit trail off of that one, The Business of Birth Control from 2021 by Abby Epstein was really good too. I believe science. I believe in healthcare, but I also believe that there's got to be a better solution for birth control than hormonal stuff that fucks up our bodies. For some people, like it can be really, really helpful, really beneficial, especially for women with endometriosis. I know that a lot of people have used it as like an acne treatment and it's worked really well for them, but also like they have not made any significant improvements to it since it came out in the 70s. At least not like good improvements. All of the changes that they've made have been with products that have ended up like causing women to go into like horrible psychotic breaks, or like have caused weird heart issues, and they have been sued for them because these things have killed women, and they're still on the market because they were able to settle out of court. It's crazy. Like it's crazy. And the way that like a lot of doctors just kind of treat it as though it's something normal because the placebo pills give you like a fake period essentially, because your body's still bleeding, but it's not a true period. So like it talks a little bit about the hormone, well, not a little bit, the whole thing is about the hormonal side of like how that affects our bodies. Fascinating little side trail. That all said, like if you use birth control, if you stand by birth control, like that's your prerogative. Personally, like it fucked me up. It made my anxiety horrendous. And I don't want to use anything hormonal, but I completely understand why there are women that do use it. And also, like, there's not a lot of great alternatives. Okay, so then getting into Mother, and this is the first one that I watched. It's called Butterfly in a Blizzard. The name caught my eye because I love butterflies, and I was in a blizzard, and it was perfect. This is from 2025. It was directed by Rose Corr and Tyler Hamlet. Butterfly in a Blizzard is about the pro snowboarder Kimi Fasani. I don't think she was in this most recent Olympics, but she has competed in Winter Olympics before as a snowboarder. This documentary takes place over 5 years, and it's her first 5 years of being a pro snowboarder and a mom. And just kind of a look at how that journey goes for her, because, you know, as women, like, we're always told, like, oh, you can have it all, but you can't really, like, not all at once. So it's like, how does she balance being a mom and being a pro athlete, especially in a world where there is no, like, maternity leave or, like, stipulations for caring or, like, keeping women on the payroll when they're pro athletes and they have sponsors. Like, sponsors don't really care if a woman's going to take a break to have a kid. They're probably going to drop her because she's not performing anymore, you know? So she worked with the company that sponsors her. I can't remember which one at the moment. I want to say Burton. I don't know for sure that it was Burton. To make some, like, groundbreaking motherhood leave kind of stipulations and contracts. And this movie introduced me to a word called matrescence, which is just kind of the act of becoming a mother, like the process of becoming a mother. It's really fascinating because it's something that, you know, it's not instantaneous. Like, there's a whole bunch of hormonal stuff happening in our bodies, obviously, when we're pregnant, but then also, like, after giving birth, there's significant changes, and even just, like, through the first few years of being a mother, and, like, now suddenly, like, you're not your first concern. Your children are your first concern, and the toll that takes on us, but also, like, the way that fundamentally shifts our hormonal selves, our emotional selves, our mental selves, our physical selves is crazy. It's almost like you become sort of like a whole new version of yourself in nearly every way. And as someone who does want to be a mother someday, it was interesting to watch in a way that was, like, helping me understand what my future is probably going to look like. So if you just watch one out of the ones that I'm recommending, okay, maybe, no, if you just watch one of them, it'll be the next one, because every single woman. But anyway, even if you don't plan to be a mom, I think there's something really beautiful in hearing, like, how women are affected this way. Because, like, you probably are going to have friends who are going to become parents, and it'll give you a little bit of insight into that, because I think there's this weird shift that happens in a lot of female friendships where, like, one woman starts having kids and the other woman doesn't, and then they're kind of in different places in their lives or different priorities, and it's hard to stay friends. So I think, like, all women really need to understand kind of the biological processes there, because it's going to really just allow for more, like, community and understanding. Okay, so then the very last one, which is, like, if you're gonna watch one video out of this list, this is the one I recommend. It's called The M Factor, M like the letter M. It was directed by Jacoba Atlas, came out in 2024. It's less than an hour long, so it's the shortest one of the bunch as well. this is about menopause, something that every single woman goes through, some of us sooner than others. And it's really, really fascinating. Like, it's important because they're actually talking about it. Menopause doesn't get talked about very often, especially not in public spaces. But then they're talking about like some of the treatments for it and breaking down some of the stigma and the science behind some of the research of like hormone replacement therapy for women going through menopause. And like there's this one big study that for a long time like made doctors shy away from it, but they talk about how flawed that study is. So that was really interesting. And then again, like the changes your body goes through hormonally that affect everything else about you is crazy. It's like another turn of like becoming a whole different version of yourself. And every single woman's going to go through this. And so it was really interesting to look at it from like a that's my future perspective, but also like seeing all the things that have been done recently to try and improve the conversation around menopause and the treatments that are available to women. It was also really interesting, some of the statistics, because menopause affects it seems to affect different ethnicities for different periods of time. I think white women have the shortest menopause on average, and Black women's is almost doubled. Like white women have like 5 to 6 years on average, and Black women have like 10 years on average. Crazy. And some of that might be access to care. So yeah, if you're gonna watch one video that I've recommended today, please watch the M Factor. Please watch the M Factor. But if you watch all 3 or 4 of them, it's so fascinating to watch them back to back like that, or like in a shorter period of time, like maybe one a day, to kind of have this documentary journey through maiden, mother, crone, the journey of womanhood, and how kind of an innate sense of how our bodies function and were created for these different phases of our lives. And they kind of do coincide with like our Saturn returns, which is also really interesting. But yeah, highly recommend.